Now, from WYDC TV, this is Big Fox News at 10.
Good evening, I'm Anna Manuel. It's back to school time in the Southern Tier, and Catholic Charities has returned with its back to school drive and campaign to serve the kids in the community. Big Fox's Maggie Hall has information on how you can get involved.
Catholic Charities of Chemung and Schuyler County are working hard during this back-to-school season to fill the needs of community kids. The charity is looking for monetary donations and school supplies for area kids. The charity has a goal of $9,000 and has reached $3,815 of that goal. To contribute to the campaign, visit cs-cc.org/back-to-school campaign. I spoke with Katie Rhodes, the communications coordinator for Catholic Charities of Chemung and Schuyler County.
So we know that getting kids prepared for school is really essential. We want them to really feel prepared when they go back to school for that first day and not have any feeling of, I couldn't afford to have a supply, I couldn't afford something, or my teacher has to provide it for me kind of thing. We want to be able to send them with what they need.
In Chemung County, the backpacks will be distributed at the Strong Kids, Safe Kids at the Chemung County Fairgrounds on August 27th. This will happen between 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. For Schuyler County residents, registration is required before backpack pickup. This event will happen at the Schuyler County Highway Department on August 26th from 2 to 3 p.m. To contribute school supplies to fill these backpacks, visit cs-cc.org/items needed. The Back to School campaign and supplies drive will only be going on until this Saturday, August 19th. For more information about how you can get involved and for a full list of donation drop boxes, visit cs-cc.org. Maggie Hall, Big Fox News, Chemung County.
51-year-old Sean Fenner of Ithaca has been taken into custody and charged with the stabbing of a delivery driver. Police say he approached the victim around 8:50 p.m. Saturday before attacking him in the 100 block of West Green Street. The victim sustained non-life-threatening injuries. Fenner is facing 3 charges, including assault, criminal possession of a weapon, and criminal possession of a controlled substance. New York State is preparing to fight off an unlikely foe. Our Josh Feldberg tells us what you can do to help with the fight.
The spotted lanternfly is an invasive species that originated in Asia. The lanternfly has now made its way into multiple states in the U.S., including Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Virginia, and New York. The spotted lanternfly primarily feeds on the sap of the tree of heaven, but they are well known to feed on grape and other fruit plants. These bugs cause a significant risk to the New York State wineries and other fruit industries. They are swarm feeders and they can quickly overwhelm and destroy grape vineyards or other fruit farms. U.S. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer stated that upstate New York is infested with the spotted lanternfly. Schumer is calling on the USDA to free up over $200 million to fight and contain the spotted lanternfly.
So how can you help contain the spread of the spotted lanternfly? The State Department of Environmental Conservation states that you can learn how to identify the lanternfly. You can identify and scrape off any egg masses into hot and soapy water. If you see any lanternflies in the wild, you can either capture or take a photo of them and report the location of where you found them to the Department of Agriculture.
If the spotted lanternfly is left unchecked, it can have a major economic impact on the state. The bugs feed off of 70 different plant species, which could result in all that vegetation facing the danger of disease and other pests. Josh Feldberg, Big Fox News, Steuben County.
New York State drivers are being encouraged to slow down this week. Governor Hochul announced this week is Speed Awareness Week. Law enforcement agencies throughout New York State will be increasing patrols to target speeding. Governor Hochul announced that this high-visibility campaign is looking to stop speeding and help prevent crashes caused by high-speed driving. There were 353 fatal crashes last year that resulted in 389 deaths. There are some new road closures for drivers in Steuben County beginning August 22nd. Hopper Hill Bridge in Troopsburg will close to all traffic for about 5 weeks. The bridge will be closed as they replace concrete slabs on the bridge. County Route 76 in Urbana will be closed to all traffic between Sanford Road and Grayton H. Taylor Memorial Drive. The road will be closed from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. August 22nd to the 26th as a large culvert pipe is being replaced. A tragedy in Pennsylvania is compounded after a driver allegedly plows into a crowd during a fundraiser, killing one person and injuring more than a dozen others. Police say the ordeal unfolded Saturday night outside a bar in Berwick, where patrons were holding a benefit for a family devastated by a deadly fire. Police say 17 people were hurt. The suspect, identified as 24-year-old Adrian Oswaldo Sura Reyes, is also accused of killing a woman in her home, who was later identified as his 56-year-old mother. Police have no motive for either incident. Reyes was arraigned early Sunday on 2 counts of criminal homicide. The benefit was being held for the victims of a house fire in Nescopeck, Pennsylvania earlier this month that killed 10 people. As tourism continues making a comeback in the nation's largest city following the pandemic, health officials in New York are warning people to make sure they're up to date on their vaccines. But not just for COVID, this time it's for polio. The highly infectious and potentially deadly virus was once eliminated from the U.S. in 1979, but after dips in vaccination rates, it's starting to reemerge. Ted Lindner has the latest.
Health officials in New York warn that polio could be spreading across the Empire State after confirming the virus that causes it was detected in New York City wastewater on Friday. This comes after the first U.S. polio case in almost a decade was reported in nearby Rockland County late last month after an unvaccinated 20-year-old man contracted the virus and suffered paralysis.
While most people who contract polio are asymptomatic, in severe cases it can cause paralysis, which is what happened to this individual who was not vaccinated.
The virus was also recently detected in wastewater in Orange County, New York, north of Rockland County. Both counties have lower rates of childhood polio vaccinations than surrounding areas. New York State's health commissioner now urging every adult and child, especially those in the New York metro area, to get immunized against polio if they aren't already. The CDC says the virus is highly contagious, with roughly 1 out of 4 infected people developing flu-like symptoms. It can spread through person-to-person contact, especially through small particles of an infected person's feces.
If that person were to go to a water park, if they were to go to a pool, if they were to swim in a pond, if they were to be around other people not washing their hands well, this means that we have polio in the community.
Health officials are investigating the origins of the polio virus samples in wastewater, warning it's possible that hundreds of people in New York have already gotten it and are unaware. Ted Lindner, Fox News.
Still ahead, we have your complete forecast. Plus,
a new type of celebrity getting ready to take the world by storm. I'm Marianne Rafferty with a look at how pop stars are rising to fame in the metaverse and the future of virtual concerts coming up.
Now, your Twin Tiers forecast from Big Fox.
Well, after some quiet conditions to start off the weekend, we are tracking some changes. I'm meteorologist Alyssa Triplett, and through the overnight, we'll start to see some of that moisture return. Can't rule out a few isolated showers, but we'll definitely be seeing some foggier conditions, as that moisture is going to cause for a pretty rich atmosphere to allow for that fog to develop, especially in those early morning hours with those calm conditions. Winds looking to be under about 5 miles per hour. Temperatures falling slightly below average into those 50s, and then those clear skies allowing for that fog to develop. Now, we will look at across the area. Everybody's expected to at least see those lows just down to about 57 into Elmira, 56 into Wayland, Hornell there just around 55 degrees. So we're trending to see at or below average, and that's really going to be the trend for temperatures for at least this first half of the week. What we'll trend to see is that underneath some of this moisture that's returning, we're going to be dealing with these hit or miss showers, but it's going to be very light accumulation. Even with a very saturated atmosphere, we're not going to be dealing with these heavy downpours. It's just not with this high pressure or this low pressure system high within the atmosphere is going to be able to output. We would need a formal frontal system really to bring us a downpour. So overall, very light accumulation is not going to really deplete those drought conditions that we're dealing with here across southern portions of New York. Now, cooler than average conditions will also be noted, especially with hit or miss showers. That means a little bit more cloud cover, a little less sunshine, keeping those temperatures into those lower 80s, a few locations even into those upper 70s, all dependent on how much cloud cover hugs the sky. And that's going to be in place through Thursday. This hit or miss shower shower and cooler than average trend. By the end of the week, a high pressure system will move in, and that's going to give us some warmer temperatures as well as some sunnier skies, at least for a few days before some of those showers may return. Now, heading into what's expected for our Tuesday forecast, you can see a little bit of that fog in the morning, and then you're seeing shower and thunderstorm activity throughout the day. Now, it's not going to be all day. You're going to see those showers continue to fall with thunderstorms. When you roll through the forecast, you really see that the pattern is going to be hit or miss. You're going to even see the rotation of these showers really not have fast movement. The development will come from all directions really, but you have this really sporadic activity. So there might be some pockets that you're able to walk away with maybe a quick 1/10 of an inch or up to a 1/4 of an inch, but for the most part, it is going to be light where it is moving on through, as we're not going to really see anything organized through the next few days. So when we even look at through 7 p.m. on Wednesday, we're only bringing in a few hundredths of an inch, with a few locations, especially up towards the Finger Lakes, maybe walking away with about a 1/10 of an inch. Now, more rainfall expected on Thursday, so could add a little bit more to these numbers, but nothing that is going to be excessive. Again, that's going to deplete those drought conditions. Now, temperature-wise on Tuesday, we're about 5 to 10 degrees below average. Elmira holding on to 80 degrees. Those Finger Lakes into those low 80s and 70s, with Bath just around 78 degrees. Extended forecast, as mentioned, keeps us under those isolated to scattered thunderstorms through Thursday. Lower 80s in place. As we return to that high pressure system, we'll have sunnier skies and warmer temperatures at least through Saturday before more showers return Sunday.
You know, Andy Warhol once said, in the future, everyone will be world famous for 15 minutes. And with the dawn of the metaverse, now digital personas are also landing in the spotlight. Marianne Rafferty has more on the growing success of a new age pop star and the future of virtual concerts.
Music on.
Every generation has its rock stars, but now the metaverse is giving rise to a whole new wave of digital performers, slated to become the celebrities of the future.
My name is Polar, and I'm a metaverse-born singer, dancer, and influencer.
Meet Polar, a virtual singer and social media star rising to fame in the metaverse and across online platforms like TikTok and YouTube, where she collectively has more than 2 million followers.
Since I can remember, I've always wanted to make music and perform.
It's a substantial fan base, considering Polar isn't a real person. She's the creation of media company The Soul Publishing, where officials are helping virtual reality bleed into reality and changing the landscape of the entertainment industry. Polar first went viral last year when she performed her debut single, Close to You, in the video game Avakin Life. The pop star recently headlined that video game's music event called the Solar Sounds Festival, drawing huge crowds in the metaverse.
I want to perform a live show in a real venue.
But while her online presence continues growing, Polar is also focusing on conquering the real world, announcing goals of collaborating on music with Grammy Award-winning artists like Ariana Grande. Officials at The Soul Publishing say it may not be long until virtual stars like Polar are putting on concerts in real-life stadiums, pointing to ABBA's recent concert series where their holograms performed alongside a live band. Marianne Rafferty, Fox News.
Ride-hailing company Uber is dropping one of its perks for customers. Uber says it's going to discontinue its free Uber Rewards loyalty program so it can focus on its subscription-based one called Uber One. Uber says customers with the free loyalty program can still earn points until the end of August, but the points have to be used by October 31st. Uber One costs $9.99 a month and has perks like free food deliveries and discounts on Uber Eats orders and select drivers. Doctors are urging families to make sure their kids' immunizations are up to date as the new school year approaches. Dr. Adam Keating from Cleveland Clinic Children says the upcoming flu season could be more severe than what we've seen in the past. Dr. Keating says the flu affects kids and the elderly the most and recommends children get the flu shot every year. He also suggests families get their children vaccinated against COVID-19 and that they make appointments with their doctors for any other vaccine children might need before the cold weather season begins. Well, school is almost back in session and doctors warn heavy backpacks can lead to health problems for students. Doctors say it is important for families to make sure they're not sending their kids to school with overweight backpacks. They say heavy backpacks can change the natural curve of the spine, affecting a child's ability to maintain an ideal posture. They say it can even cause an extended cervical spine. Doctors recommend families pick a lightweight bag with a padded back, several compartments, and wide padded shoulder straps. They also recommend no more than 10 to 15% of a child's body weight. Still ahead, a major cruise line is allowing unvaccinated guests to travel without an exemption. That story and more ahead. A major cruise line is allowing unvaccinated guests to travel without an exemption. A major milestone for Tesla, and the U.S. gaming industry keeps breaking records. CJ Papa has these stories and more in today's Business Briefs.
Big changes on the high seas. Carnival Cruise Line announcing it's easing testing requirements for vaccinated passengers and allowing unvaccinated guests to travel without an exemption. Unvaccinated passengers will be required to present a negative COVID test within 3 days of departure. The new guidelines are only for cruises under 16 days. They'll take effect September 6th. Tesla CEO Elon Musk announced the automaker has now produced more than 3 million cars. Musk tweeting out a congratulatory message to Giga Shanghai. June was Tesla's most productive month on record. The 258,000 vehicles produced were a 25% year-over-year increase. Americans aren't scaling back on placing their bets. U.S. commercial gaming revenue reached an all-time quarterly high in the 3 months ending in June, reaching close to $15 billion. And it's on track to set an annual revenue record. Sports gaming revenue soared nearly 59%, while iGaming revenue was up over 34%. And a new era of supersonic air travel has arrived. Boom Supersonic rolling out its new environmentally friendly airliner, Overture. The world's fastest airliner can fly from New York City to London in 3.5 hours. The current time is about 7. Boom says 2 airlines and the U.S. Air Force have signed on to buy their airliner. That's business in New York. I'm CJ Papa.
Thinking about doing some light off-roading? Well, pay attention to this next story about what the 2022 Ford Expedition Timberline has to offer. Gary Gastelum has more.
It's the Ford Expedition that's best suited for go-go. This is the Ford Expedition Timberline, which is the most off-roady version of the Expedition Ford has ever made. Upgrades include a heavy-duty suspension system and all-terrain tires that increase its ground clearance from 9.8 to 10.6 inches. The front skid plate from a Ford F-150 Raptor pickup truck. It also gets plenty of copper accents and the snazzy green leather upholstery that's unique to the trim. The Expedition Timberline is a standard 440 horsepower, 3.5-liter turbocharged V6 with 510 pound-feet of torque that's good for towing up to 9,200 pounds and has a starting price of just over $72,000. It's not available with the larger Expedition Max body, but has 3 rows of seating and can be optioned to over $80,000 with features like adaptive cruise control, a 12-speaker B&O audio system, and a 360-degree camera. The Timberline comes equipped with a 4-wheel drive system that can operate full-time or part-time and has a 2-speed transfer case. It also features Ford's Trail Control low-speed cruise control for off-roading and another feature called Trail Turn Assist that makes this full-size truck feel a lot smaller. It's another thing this borrows from the Raptor and the Ford Bronco. What it does is when you crank the wheel, it locks the inside rear tire and uses it as a pivot so you can basically spin in place. It's very useful for a big truck like this on a narrow track. Despite the rugged upgrades and the fact that this doesn't have any kind of computer-controlled suspension, this remains well-mannered on paved roads and isn't too bad out here either. It doesn't mind being banged around a little bit, but big 3-ton trucks do have their limitations. If you're looking to do extreme rock crawling or high-speed desert driving, the Bronco is probably a better choice for you. But for gravel roads or logging roads, the Timberline seems appropriately named. In the 2022 Ford Expedition Timberline, Gary Gastelum, Fox News.
Stay with us. We'll have more after the break. And we want to leave you with a sweet smile tonight. Kellogg's popular cereal goes shocking orange for upcoming Halloween fun. New Kellogg's Rice Krispies will hit the shelves this month with eye-popping Great Pumpkin Deep Orange color. And getting it out now will help Halloween fans get into the spirit of Rice Krispie treats fun with a marshmallow or other flavors by the end of October. It's still the same taste and crunch as always that we all love. Kellogg's says a 7.5 5-ounce cereal will be $4.49 a box, and a 12-ounce box will retail for $5.49. I'm Harriet Wallace. Thank you so much for watching.